Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to RWM Finance. My name is Weston McKinley. Our mission here is to try and help everybody achieve financial freedom. And today's topic are ETFs that cover the entire market. So if you don't know what an ETF is, then I would suggest that you go and watch my video over what is an ETF. It should be popping up right up at the top right about now. Essentially, ETFs are pools of stocks that you can invest in instead of just investing in, like, say, one single stock. But they differ from mutual funds because, unlike mutual funds, ETFs are able to be traded throughout the entire trading day. Now, let's get to some of those ETFs. So the first one that I have for you is Vanguard Energy. The ticker symbol is VDE. This ETF covers like energy sources, so like oil, natural gas, I'd imagine like solar and like probably wind. So like those are the companies that are within the pool for this ETF. The next ETF is Vanguard Materials. The ticker symbol for this ETF is XLB. So this invests in materials like iron, gold, I guess copper, silver. So it invests in, those types of materials. Those types of materials are valuable. So if, say, like the price of gold goes up, then usually this ETF, their price would rise up as well. Our next ETF is the SPD Industrials. The ticker symbol for this ETF is XLI. This ETF invests in industrialization. So it invests in like defense companies, marine, transportation, aerospace, infrastructure, companies that produce things within those categories. So that's what this ETF invests in. The next ETF that I have for you is the Vanguard Consumer Discretionary. The ticker symbol for this one is pretty easy. It's VCR. I don't know if y'all still remember what the VCR is, but I watched tons of videos on the VCR. But this ETF invests in companies that consumers consider like non-essential. So they invest in like retailers, restaurants, internet, stuff that consumers, they don't really need. So I guess like Starbucks would probably be one. Other companies, I imagine that McDonald's or like fast food chains would probably be in there. So just companies like that. The next ETF is Vanguard Consumer Staples. The ticker symbol for this stock is VDC. This ETF invests in like some just staple companies, companies that have been around for a long time, and they're companies like Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Walmart, Philip Morris, kind of companies that fall under that category of establishment and track record. Those companies have been around and they're staples, which is where I guess they would get the name consumer staples. The next ETF that we have is SPD Healthcare. And the ticker symbol for that is XLV. This ETF invests in companies that produce like pharmaceuticals, healthcare technology, healthcare providers and services, and healthcare equipment and supplies. So companies that fall within the healthcare industry is what this ETF invests in. Next we have the SPDR Financials. The ticker symbol for this is XLF. So this ETF invests in is diversified within different financial services like banks, insurance, capital markets, and consumer finance. So they invest in companies that you would deal with in the finance industry and finance categories. I know that we've kind of gone over quite a few. There's a lot of different sectors and industries of the market, and so we actually have 11 ETFs to go over. So just wanted to give you all a little break, but if you like this video, if you've enjoyed it, if you learned just 1% more than you already did, please scroll down, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel below. It really helps the video out, helps it get up. That way more people can see it. But let's get back. The next ETF we have is the Vanguard Information Technology. The ticker symbol for this one is VGT. This ETF's major holdings are in like semiconductors, software, and networking. So some real like high-tech companies in like a industry sector. The next ETF we have is the SPD Communication Services. The ticker symbol for this ETF is XLC. So this ETF invests in different telecommunication companies and wireless telecommunication companies. So when you think of like wireless telecommunications like Verizon, T-Mobile, those types of companies are within this ETF. The next ETF we have is the SPDR Utilities. The ticker symbol for this ETF is XLU. This ETF usually holds different utilities, as you could probably guess. So electricity, water, gas, independent power, and renewable energy producers. So companies that fall under that umbrella are what make up the bulk of this ETF. Our last ETF that we have is Vanguard Real Estate. The ticker symbol for this ETF is VNQ. So this ETF invests within different REITs, and REITs are real estate investment trusts. These allow you to invest in the real estate industry without actually having to own any type of property. And so this ETF invests in different types of REITs, from residential to office, industrial, and retail REITs, among some other things. That is what this the portfolio of this ETF is composed of. But that is our last ETF. So these that I listed are just individual industry sector ETFs that I listed out. So, if you wanted to go heavy in on like technology or something like that, I know that that's been a really hot industry ever since the quarantine happened. So if you wanted to invest heavily in the FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, that technology sector in the market, then you could invest. Without investing individually in each stock and each company, you could invest in the technology sector. So if technology was just on the rise, then that ETF would be doing well. Whereas if you were to invest in say Amazon only, and maybe tech was doing good, but Amazon just had a bad month, had a bad quarter, then you wouldn't be as much risk with investing in the ETF versus the individual stock. But I wouldn't necessarily suggest investing in each one of these individually, because you can always just invest in the entire market with the S&P 500, and Vanguard has a ETF, the Vanguard Entire Market Index. Vanguard Total Market Index. So you could invest in the entire market, and then you could also invest heavily in, say real estate if you thought the real estate market was going to do well, or if you did research and found that utilities were doing really well right now, then you could invest in the utilities ETF. And there's more than what I listed out there. I was just listing out some, but those kind of cover the entire every sector, every industry sector within the market. Either way, whatever you choose to do with your investment, it's your money, so you invest it wisely, invest it how you choose to. And as always, like I always say, make sure to do your homework before you do anything, before you get into any type of investment. And that's all I got. See you on the next video.